Welcome, angels. I am Heather Buzzard of Buzzard's Corner of Love. Think outside the box, and we have Miss Rosemary here today. Angel, we're talking about forgiveness, and let me tell you, that's why we're 15 minutes late, and we aren't in the space where we thought we were going to be in. And I've had to forgive myself for when I let myself down, and for those who watch Buzzard's Corner of Love and who listen to Buzzard's Corner of Love radio. I ask for your forgiveness as well. Yet, truly, the most important thing is to forgive myself. As we're talking about forgiveness, Miss Rosemary, who is with me here today, and you can see her a little bit better way to the camera, Miss Rosemary.
How you doing?
We are talking about forgiveness, and it isn't a coincidence, angels, that just today I have had to forgive myself and let myself be gentler with myself. And I have a lady, Miss Rosemary, was with me when this happened. What happened was I called myself going to have some extra time to people watch and whatnot. And I had my thing together in my hand, and I walked out the door, and I said, oh, let me check my phone and the things that I had in my hand. I sat down and I proceeded to walk out the door. Well, by the time that I got to my destination, what it was that I needed, I didn't have. And it just became really frustrating in my driving, getting back to the house to pick up my laptop and whatnot. And then to a restaurant, we were going to go to a restaurant, but they didn't have Wi-Fi. So that made it even more frustrating. And then we were driving back to the house where we are now here. And I started crying when I was in the car because I was just like, I had never in my life missed a radio podcast that I do over on Blog Talk Radio. I've shown up there on time every single time. And to have this advertised and to be advertised at 12:30 and then to not show up till 12:45 really pushed me. That's an example right there, angels, in Heather having to forgive Heather. I cried. I'm not one. I don't hold things in. And crying is a release for me. And Miss Rosemary, her love, also helped because she rubbed my back and she just said, just slow down, take a couple of deep breaths, and don't let this energy cause an accident. Because it's when we get caught up in that angst energy, angels, that we can create accidents and all kinds of things for ourselves that we really don't want. That's just an example of forgiveness that I had to take part in today in just the last 45 minutes. Miss Rosemary?
Yes. Forgiveness is allowing yourself to let yourself accept that things have happened that you were not responsible for. And allowing yourself to ignore that is to be very unfair to yourself. And that's not what we want. Your feelings are not...
Your feelings?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And we don't want you to feel it. We don't want you to feel that you have the total responsibility of what happened to you, whatever that was. And to alleviate that pressure, it's allowing yourself to let go and decide that you no longer want to hold on to all of that baggage. Because when you carry that package, you are holding on to resentment, and that resentment is taking you absolutely nowhere. It is stopping you from advancing, and actually, it's an imprisonment. You are putting yourself in a position where you no longer are dealing with life. You're dealing with a situation, and you refuse to let that situation leave your life. And not letting it go, you are terminating a lot of things that could happen for you that cannot occur because of your holding back. So to let go is the only way that you're going to find freedom.
And angels, we have a tendency to say just let go and let God. And it is easier said than done. I know, especially in my life. I'm in a position right now, I spoke about it on our radio show last Tuesday, or this past Tuesday. that I'm in a position where she said to let that baggage go, because really the only person we're imprisoning is ourself. And even though you know it up here, it's a difference for it to drop down into your heart space and to make it real in your life. I know it all up here, angels. I know what it is I'm supposed to do, to let go and let God, to forgive myself. Yet actually implementing it is a whole different story. And that's why we're here, so that you can implement it. Today, when I went through my series that I went through this afternoon, getting online late and whatnot, I had to implement some type of forgiveness in order to even be sitting here. I did cry. I listened to Miss Rosemary. I even talked to myself. Did I
Yes.
not? I talked to myself. I told myself I needed to forgive myself, to let myself go, to accept what is. And that's another thing. This lady right here, angels, she can accept. Acceptance is a key. Accepting what is. And when we're able to accept what is, forgiveness doesn't even need to play a role. Because when you accept what is, there is nothing to forgive, because it's
You're
just
letting go.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if that makes any sense to you, when you're able to accept what is, forgiveness doesn't play a part, because you've let it go and be okay with that. Speak a little bit about that, Miss Rosemary, because she is the queen of acceptance, angels.
Well, excusing poor behavior, denying or minimizing your hurt, that is something that we do a lot of, to allow whatever another person did to you that you feel was unjust, and you hold on to it because, well, that's my sister, well, that was my mom, well, that was my uncle, well, that was my best friend. So I'm trying to ignore what they did or said to me because I feel that they were just being who they are. Well, in many cases, that is what was going on. But nonetheless, you have feelings, and those feelings need to be addressed.
Yes.
So you're keeping it and not allowing yourself to talk about it and get it out, letting them know how you feel is what you need to do. Because if you don't let them know, and sometimes you're not able to let them know because sometimes they're deceased or they've left the picture and they've terminated in some kind of way. So they're not available to you. You still have the hurt. You still want to ignore what they did because of who they were. But you cannot do that to yourself because it's not fair. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to you having a life. You can't hold back forever regarding other people.
She is totally 100% correct, angels. And let me just say, like she mentioned, if they're deceased or they've walked out of your life or something, you can sit down with a pad and paper, write a letter to them, burn it, use some incense, have a little ceremony, have a grieving ceremony.
Very good.
You can, if you're creative, you can paint pictures, or you can write songs, or whatever it is. You can write poems. If you're a writer, just get that out of your system, because let me tell you, dis-ease is what's within our bodies.
Yes.
And cancer is eating away from the body from the inside out. And my father died of cancer, and he held a lot of stuff in. I watched him hold a lot of stuff in, and I would always ask him, I said, Dad, why don't you express yourself? Oh no, I don't want to make waves. That's okay. Yet I tell you, angels, dis-ease is in the body. And if you don't express it, it will manifest some way, somehow in your body, because it's got to come out some kind of way, which is why today, when I had all that pressure on me, I cry. I will cry at a drop of a hat. And that for me is a release. It's a pressure release. I also talk to myself. I turn up my music. I sing to my music. I'll sit outside and be with nature. Take deep breaths. You have to be willing to take deep breaths to center yourself. Miss Rosemary told me She said, and let me tell you, she's a woman of wisdom here. And she probably wouldn't, not probably, she wouldn't even have went into the space that I went into today. Yet she's got 30 years on me. So when I get to be that space, I'll be there too. So what, in what ways would you what happened today? How would you have handled it?
Your not being able to get to your Wi-Fi was very exasperating. And watching you go through the hell that you put yourself through.
And I did it to myself, Angels, as we all do.
Was to really see a sadness there. And at the same time, the eagerness you had for wanting to continue to be successful with your show. I understand that, but you're having allowed yourself to center yourself and come to a peaceful space so that you could go on and drive the car,
right?
Go on and get to the house,
right?
And come in the house, get the Wi-Fi addressed, and now here we are, and
right.
All is well.
Right. Time conscious, Angels. That's where my mind was. I was on time. Yet there is no such thing as time. Yet I'm a very time conscious person. And it was that pressure that I put on myself that I got myself upset. How many of us put pressure on ourselves, even in forgiving ourselves? Forgiveness work plays a role in life always. Yet to put pressure on yourself because you may have done it yet doesn't serve you. Just keep chipping away at it. Say a prayer if you need to. What other suggestions do you have for them?
Forgiving and reconciling with yourself. You don't reconcile with your offender, but you do reconcile with self for having gone through whatever that crisis was that you were experiencing with the offender.
I'll give you an example on that in case you aren't clear what she means by that. When I was a child, I had a family member and was molested. And all the years growing up, I've said it 100 times on my radio show. I tried to speak about it in my family and nobody would listen to me. And through the years, as I got older and whatnot, nobody would listen to me. Yet now, at this day and age, they have finally come to terms and grips with what really did happen. Yet for me, I've had to forgive myself for all of those years that I tried to get them to see that. I didn't have to. I chose to forgive myself. I chose to forgive my brother so that I was able to look at him from a different perspective, because that is still family. And it wasn't easy? No. Did I like it? No. Yet I did it. And because I did do it, Angels, I'm free. I am free today because of it. And that's what forgiveness brings, isn't it, Miss Rosemary? It brings freedom of the mind.
Yes.
And it brings you peace of mind. The other day, I lit a peace candle in this home, Angels, and that flame never wavered, which tells me I am in this home at peace. Peace is something you cannot buy. It isn't something that somebody else can give you. It is only found within you. And you must be willing to dig deep within yourself to find that forgiveness and start forgiving yourself. And I'm only speaking to myself. I did it today, Angels.
And we got to be sure not to assume any feelings of righteousness in your situation, because sometimes we can get into they did this to me and how dare they and who do they think they are? You can't do these kinds of things and I'm not going to take it. That's not okay.
That doesn't work either.
No, it doesn't.
Because that's only ego.
That's right.
And ego gets you nowhere.
Absolutely.
So, Angels, there you go. Do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Allowing yourself to not feel that you have to reconcile.
What do you
with
mean
your
by that?
offender.
Okay. With the offender. Right.
Mhm.
Right. Make peace with yourself.
With yourself
Yes.
only.
Yes.
You don't have to be concerned about, oh, I wonder if they're okay.
Right. Right.
You don't, no,
Mm-mm.
they need to be incarcerated, put away somewhere where they cannot hurt or harm anyone else.
Right. But the total focus, angels, is you. And that
Absolutely.
isn't selfish. That's called self-love and self-care.
And preservation.
Preservation. Yes. Anything else?
No, that's it.
That's it. Angels, this is Miss Rosemary, woman of wisdom. And in 2 weeks, we will be talking about fear. October, Halloween. We're going to be talking about fear. Isn't that right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fear. False evidence appearing real. And this time, angels, I guarantee you, we will be on at 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here at Buzzard's Corner of Love. Think outside the box. Angels, you can always go to BuzzardsKorner.com, BUZZARDSKORNER, Buzzard's Corner with a K.com. Sign up for our free monthly email. Angels, receive support in that manner. Start or end your day with a past podcast or blog reading over there on our website. Angels, you can also like our videos here on youtube.com/BuzzardsKorner. Think outside the box. Subscribe to our channel. You can download our latest ebook, 8 Easy Steps to Improve Your Life Now, which is available at BuzzardsKorner.com. That and so much more is available over there. Angels, every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're at blogtalkradio.com/BuzzardsKorner of Love. We come on every Tuesday over there. And you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and all other social sites. This is Miss Rosemary. We say thank you.
You're welcome.
For your wisdom and your love. Until next time, angels, I am Heather Buzzard of Buzzard's Corner of Love. Think outside the box.